Hey, thanks for joining us today. Our guests today are two people that may be known to some of us in the area, both who have been involved in the Sea Ranch Thespians, Michael Bonner and Karen Russell. Both of them are stepping forward as directors this time around, not as cast members. So we're going to hear from them about the plays they're directing, and it is multiple plays. The production coming up in May is called Close Encounters and is a selection of three one-act plays. Michael's directing one of them, Karen's directing another, and Kathy Hitt, who many of you know from the area, is directing one of the plays. Three one-act plays packaged together. Michael and Karen, thanks for joining me today.
Our pleasure.
Let's dive in here for a bit. Michael, let me start with you real quick. Tell us a little bit about your own theater or acting experience. In a nutshell, what have you done? How'd you end up in getting involved in the theater?
Well, I got involved in the theater back in school, and I went to Northwestern for some theater training. And after college, I did a little bit, but it really wasn't going to be the lifestyle that I wanted. So I dropped theater for something like 40 years. And then when I saw this production over at Sea Ranch called I Hate Hamlet, it was too irresistible because I'm a terrible Shakespeare groupie. And I thought, well, there's going to be at least be some dollops of Shakespeare in here. Let's see what we've got. And they seemed to think I was good enough to play John Barrymore. So I did that after 40 years. Actually, I've done a little bit of stuff, and I've done some audiobooks. So if you look on Audible, you'll see a couple things that I've done. But since then, I did up in Mendocino, just finished a couple of weeks ago, their production of Barrymore, or excuse me, Baskerville. And I played John Watson. Forgive me, I'm a little off today. I've got a cold. So anyway, I played John Watson, just finished that. And so really, this is my third production that I'm in with Karen for about 40 years. And then as far as directing goes, I did a lot of TV and radio directing, but I haven't done theater directing. So this has been a really fun opportunity for me.
Fantastic. Karen, how about you? What brought you into acting? Many of us have seen you on the stage in the community here, but how'd you get started?
I, like Michael, did some things in school early on, and then, of course, had the career opportunities through my life. And then when we came up here to Sea Ranch, both John and I joined Readers Theater, which was this just great group of people in the back room at Wallala Arts reading plays together. And from that, John and I were invited to audition for a Sea Ranch play that happened to be Looking. That was where I played the police officer. And from then on, I've had the fortune of being able to be in, I think, 4 plays at the White Barn: Looking, Fish Story, Death Trap, and I Hate Hamlet with Michael Bonner, which they've just been a joy, each one of them.
Yeah, and Karen, sorry to bring this up, but every time I've seen you on the stage, you've been cast as sort of an oddball character. What's up with that?
I think when the description has the adjective wacky in front of it, I've been able to rise to that challenge. So this, as a director, is a departure from that. I'm having to put my a little bit more thinking cap on as I work with the actors.
Thank goodness. I was worried that your acting career, you're going to be typecast in your acting career and always have to play some nutcase out there. Glad to hear that you're getting a little more serious responsibility here.
Yeah, not to say that I'm not super eager to play in that case in the future.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Karen, while I'm speaking, as a director, what's the challenge? You've never directed before. I mean, how in the world do you know what to do? And
Yeah.
and what have you run into that you're scratching your head trying to figure out how to move forward?
Well, having the experience at the White Barn, I've had the opportunity to work already with three really wonderful directors, Brian Holderman, Lynn Atkins, and Kathy Hitt. And through all of those processes, as those directors are giving directions, I'm always in my head thinking, what if the staging was this? Well, if they were a little bit more animated here, what about they took it down here? So in my head, I've always had this ongoing dialogue. And I talked about it with Kathy. And at times, I think she appreciated input. At times, she was like, shut up and act, you know? But so I think very kindly when Carol and Kathy approached me, is this something that I would be open to doing? They did so, setting a stage with a lot of mentoring and support. So, in that sense, I've had a wonderful background to ask questions to and give me ideas. I think that doing this the first time, it's perfect the way this is set up with the one act because it's basically I'm doing 20 minutes. I've got two actors. It's not a tremendous amount of set changes or fireworks. So I can really focus on the dynamic between the two actors.
Sounds like it's a good way to dip your toe in the water as far as being a director. Not
Perfect.
It's not a
Perfect.
huge full-length production. 20 minutes, you can handle that, or it's a good starting point. Hey,
Excellent.
Michael, what about you? You mentioned that you had been involved in directing from the TV and film side of things, but this is your first directing experience with live theater. How's it been for you? Is it good? Is it coming easy, or are you pulling your hair out? Sorry, no,
Um,
excuse me, no, no pun intended there. Sorry, that
Wait a
wasn't
minute. What
intended.
are you referring to?
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't know this was going to turn ugly this fast. I was figuring 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, it has been kind of glorious working with these people. I've got one person who has not been on the stage before. She just kind of took a shot because she read this play and got excited about this character. And right on her audition sheet, she said, I'm only here to play this one character. And I just went, what the heck? Let's try this out and see if I can share what I know with her if she's going to be game. And it's just been magnificent. She's so game to try anything. And the other person who's been in several Sea Ranch productions is just great to give her the guidance that she offers. So it's been this really good collaborative environment. I can't really say that I tear my hair out because I know enough about the creative process to know these things have their own processes. And so there are going to be some rehearsals that go really well and some that are going to fall flat on their face. And that's just what we learn from.
I
Yeah,
wish I could say
fantastic.
the same about my actors.
I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Go ahead, rip me up.
So, George, I've been lucky enough to have the inimitable Michael Bonner cast in my play, as well as Catherine Conrad. And from the moment of their auditions, they just had a spark that was undeniable. And what I really appreciate about Michael is that in I Hate Hamlet, he played this rather dramatic, bombastic Shakespearean character. And in this one, he's playing almost a diametrically different character in that somebody who's kind of introverted, shy, social situations don't come easily. So it's been really fun.
That's great. So, Michael, you've got a double billing in Close Encounters. You're directing one of the plays, and then you're appearing as a cast member in another play.
Plus, I was up at Mendocino. I don't know what in the world's wrong with me.
So,
Luckily, the Mendocino thing is done.
yeah, so you're juggling a couple of balls here at the same time.
It's crazy,
Yeah,
but it's good
yeah.
for me in some way, I'm sure.
Good. Hey, let's talk, Michael. Let's continue. Give us a quick summary. Your one act play is called Sure Thing. I'm sorry, that's
Nope.
not correct. No, no, no. Your one act play that you're directing is called The Way of All Fish. Give
Hmm.
us a little summary. Give us an encapsulation on that one act. What's the premise? What goes on? Don't give away any twists or super endings that the audience should know about. But introduce us to that play.
Okay, the best way I can introduce this is to say who the author is. So, do you remember Elaine May or Nichols and May?
I do not, but
Okay,
hopefully some of our audience is familiar with that.
okay. So, in the late 50s, early 60s, they pretty much turned comedy on its head with improvisation. And Elaine May is this just flat out brilliant woman. And you must know, like, some of Mike Nichols' um, movies that he's directed, like Catch 22 and
Oh,
oh,
sure.
Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and The Birdcage, just a phenomenal director. Well, he was Elaine May's partner, and Elaine May has worked with him rewriting some of the stuff that he's worked on, like The Birdcage. So she is just a phenomenally brilliant writer. And this writing comes from improvisation. Now, my background, but where I had the most fun when I was at Northwestern was doing improv. I was in this Meow show that later on went on to have people like Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers. They've all been through this Meow show improvisation. There's so much that comes from improvisation. So what this particular show is Elaine May having this thing that's really an extended sketch with all these different ideas coming in having to do with the dynamics between this woman who is a boss and her secretary slash assistant. And it's just one particular night where they really kind of lay everything out. You know, it's not Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but there's some really interesting things and shifts that go on in the dynamic between these two as they try to figure out who's really got who's in charge
Uh-huh.
here.
Uh-huh. So there's a so we maybe their power struggle or their tensions are maybe revealed to us as an audience.
Oh, you
But
can't miss them.
you can't miss them, right? And is there some is there humor in it, or is it more of a dry comedy type of thing?
It's thrillingly dry. I don't expect
Okay.
people to be rolling in the aisles. What I expect, or excuse me, is that people will be listening really carefully. And there are just some great little pieces that just pop out as unusual ways of expressing things that I think are really funny. So I really wanted to share it with people.
Very cool. Very cool. And the two actors in that you're directing are Kay Dryden and Judy
Hmm.
Johnson. Is that correct?
That's right.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think audiences will remember. Remember Judy for sure. She's been in a number of productions, and this is Kay Dryden's first foray into.
Oh dear.
Is that right?
This is Kay's first foray. Yes.
Yeah.
She has a really stellar executive career, and she's able to draw on that as being the person who is the woman who runs this office.
Very cool.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
is it typecasting? Okay, I can be accused of that, but there's a lot more to it than just being typecast. And she has done a tremendous job with some of the things I've been doing because this is Elaine May. I wanted to include some improvisation in our rehearsals, and she just dove
Gotcha.
in with both feet. I mean, it's just been a great experience.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. That's great. Hey, Karen, tell us about the one act that you're directing, which is a lengthy title. Please have a seat and someone will be with you shortly, which I guess everyone in our life has been told that multiple times. What's give us an idea of what that play is about, Karen.
First off, I
Sounds
have to make a note of Meow Club. That one will definitely be coming back at some point, Mike.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please have a seat. Someone will be right with you is a lot of what the title might suggest. It takes place in a therapist's office. It's two individuals meeting there. And I think that what people will find is the dynamic is very relatable, even though their eccentricities are what kind of creates the engagement and entertainment for the audience. It's definitely a story about connection, about vulnerability, about our humanity and how we relate to one another. And I think it's a sweet little story. It's funny, it is poignant, and it tugs at your heartstrings.
Oh, excellent. That's great. Actors in that, well, obviously, Michael, who we're speaking with, is one of the actors, and Catherine Conrad, who we also know from other productions. And how were they? Be honest here, Karen. How are they working out?
No, they've been phenomenal to work with. As I said in their audition, they just were just dynamic from the very beginning. And I think part of, as a director, what you hope is that you have a collaborative process with your actors and that they ultimately take that direction. And I think that we've had a really nice back and forth within not only just the three of us, but with the people that we're working with that are helping with AD, Carolyn O'Connell, and also Ray Radke. And I just want to give a shout out to the Barneys. One thing that's so cool about this play, or the three one acts, is that
Karen, Karen, tell it for our audience who don't know, for folk listeners who don't know who the Barneys are, give a little bit of information there.
so the Barneys are a group of men and women that do all our work backstage. They build the set, they help create the decorations, and they spend months getting this all together, setting up the curtains. And then, of course, we have a phenomenal sound and light crew that assists us. Coming into the Sea Ranch Thespians is just, that blows your mind with all the talent that abounds. But anyway, so the Barneys now have created this stage that's actually a round stage that rotates around. So we'll have three different sets that will be turned around for every different play.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, and I remember that turntable has been used at least one production that I saw it in, and so this sounds like a perfect application. Three sets that can just be rotated for the next play.
Yeah.
That's
And if
really
I
cool.
could just say,
Yeah.
the play Sure Thing, which the it will start off with, is a really clever little play. And like the title Close Encounters, it is also about two people, but it's kind of from the perspective of the writer. And it starts off, and what if the writer could rewrite the play as the play is going on? And so that dynamic is played out in this one, and it's very clever and funny.
Wow, that's great. So there we are. We've got three one-act plays. Sure Thing, which Kathy is doing. Way of All Fish, which Michael is directing. And Please Have a Seat. Someone will be with you, which Karen, you are doing. Let's dig in just a little bit more. Michael, you've alluded to some of the things you liked about the play, but we've got some time. Let's expand a little bit. What do you like about the play? What will engage? What will audiences like, and what will audiences take away from your play, The Way of All Fish?
It's this exploration of the dynamics between the person who is the boss and the person that works for them and how they get what they want. And it's not the usual route that people go through. But I guess really what I hope people take away is this is some good writing. It's fascinating to listen to the back and forth between these people. And that's what's really fun in the directing, is try to get something that is got this snappy dialogue that when it's at sort of a, I don't know if you know the film His Girl Friday, but
Sure.
it's okay. So that kind of really fast back and forth between people, I love those sorts of plays. So, um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, the sorts of things that you can get with that back and forth, and then if you're listening carefully, you suddenly realize two lines back, something really cool happened. And so you just kind of catch up, and it gives you a lot more than an awful lot of the stuff than you get out of movies and TVs today. They're just these great little ideas that pop out and then they go away and give you something to come back to later.
And that's really part of the craft of the director, what you were saying about, I mean, anyone can read a script and it's dry and it's on a page, but isn't part of what you're doing as the director? Yeah, you could direct some piece of script probably in many different ways and make them completely different. You get two actors to read the same lines and make it hilariously funny, or read the same lines and make it not funny at all, perhaps dramatic even, depending
Yeah.
on, and that's part of what you as a director are trying to flush out. You're trying to give the life to those words that you want it to have.
But what's really fun is not coming in as the high and holy guru, but to work with people and say, no, we're going to discover this thing together. Yeah, I've got a lot of things that I see in here, but if we can all work together and let the actors come to me with different ideas and different thoughts, and both Kay and Judy have been wonderful to just explore these different ideas. And when we get problems, I mean, an awful lot of directors and actors will say, the rehearsal process is mainly about problem solving.
Hmm.
How is it that this particular line that seems really weird if you don't think about it? You could just lose it. But if you think about it and you see how it ties to a few lines before, it just gets really exciting. So I can see how many actors get into the rehearsal process as being far more fun than the performance process. I tend to think
Interesting.
that way. I mean, as much as I
Interesting.
love the additional dynamic of the audience, and I don't know if you know that three A's that define theater: the actor, the author, and the audience.
Yes. Yep.
Once you've got that, you've got theater. Okay, so right now we're working with two of them, and when the third one shows up, that'll be a whole new dynamic to add to it. And that's fun, and you respond to it as you do on the stage, but the discovery process of really getting into the script, that to me is incredibly exciting.
Wow, that's great. I love your idea that you brought out that directing, you view it as a collaborative, almost improvisational activity between you and the actors. It's just not you giving commands over from the
No,
director's chair. You're really working, and I think what I'm hearing is sometimes the actors come up with great ideas that you incorporate
Yeah.
they have to. I
into
mean, I
yeah,
don't know if you've heard the old homily that television is a writer's medium, film is a director's medium, but theater is an actor's medium.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
very well
so
put.
when the actors are let loose on the stage, not a
Yeah,
darn thing a director can do when
yeah,
they're out in front of the audience. They own it. So
yeah.
what is it that if you can prepare people for that amazing moment when the audience is brought into the process and you've done your homework, something pretty darn amazing can happen.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you. Very
and I
cool.
would just add to what Michael's saying is that this becomes that really fun, creative process. And one of the things is like, okay, let's try it again and do it this way. And so you start seeing like nuances develop and like, all right, let's take it a little bit further in this direction, or whoa, let's pull it back. So it's a real playful period right now as we create. And I think for the play that we're doing, Please Have a Seat, we've had fun playing as much with the dialogue as with the pauses. And the pauses are really what happens in between, very important in this play. So
Yeah.
it's been wonderful to twist and tweak and just have fun with.
Wow, that's fantastic. That sounds like you guys are really having a good time uh, putting these
No,
one
it's
acts
hell. I don't know
together.
why you would get that idea.
Because I'm trying to sell a program here too, so I want you
Yeah, but let's
know.
include our suffering.
Yeah, there
Karen,
it
look a
is.
little
Well,
more distraught.
Michael, it's art. You have to suffer for art.
There
This
you
is what
go.
I'm saying.
Yeah, there you go. Fantastic, fantastic. Help me remember here the dates that these performances are, and I'm sorry I don't have it written in front of me, but they're in May.
Yep.
Um,
They actually begin Thursday, May 8th, and all of our performances start at 4 p.m. I'm mindful to get there a little bit early, and it goes the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and then the following weekend, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it's the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And there you need to reserve your seating. So if you go to searanchthespians.com, you can go ahead and reserve your seat. And I think we have over 500 seats already reserved. So I would recommend people to get online and get your seats as soon as you
I
can.
I jumped in and got mine as soon as it was announced and everything. And I want to remind our listeners too, all performances of the Sea Ranch Thespians are free. You do need a reservation because there's only a certain number of seats, but it's free. You can park there. For those of us who come from San Francisco, Sea Ranch Thespians, you don't have to pay for parking. You can park right right outside, and it's just a great situation. But you do need a reservation, and if you make a reservation and you find you have to change it, or maybe you've added someone to your group, you can do all that. It's just a wonderful experience. Um, Michael and Karen, I do want to thank you for your time here today, and I think you've got some great plays coming up, and I'm excited to see what you each do as directors here.
Thanks
Thank you,
very much.
George. Yeah, it's a good group of plays. I really encourage people to come.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Thank you, George.
Take care.